Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Debonair Dialogue. So I've literally been so consistent with this, so precious with this, hitting the ground running and really being selective of who's on the show, who has what to say, what are we talking about, what are we doing, what can you guys take away? And tonight, I know I always say I'm super excited, and super is my word. So when I say super excited, don't feel like that's generic, but that's literally how I'd be super something. But I'm right, exactly. I'd be oh, I'm super. But I'm super because this is one of my very best friends that is on the show tonight. Alorna, say hey to everybody.
Hi. How are y'all?
This is literally one of my best friends. So we're gonna again hit the ground running. We're gonna go right into the conversation. I'm not gonna say interview, I'm gonna say conversation because it's what it's about to be. But I want to start off with how we met. Yeah. And well, not even how we met, but how we became best friends. So anyway, we met through my ex. This was, my ex's best friend.
10 years ago.
And 10 years ago. Oh my God.
No, it was 10 years.
I thought you said 10 years just now. I'm like, what?
Years ago.
I'm like, what?
It feels like 10
I'm like, should I just go along with that? 10 years. Yeah, 10 years. Yeah, 10 years.
It's been some years though.
Right, some years ago. But with that being said, it was just after my breakup with my ex, and she and I had developed a really good friendship during that time. But you hit me up for brunch probably a month after my ex and I broke up. Yeah. And you're like, let's go out to brunch. So I'm texting everybody what? This is a setup. They about to jump me. They about to, what? And literally it was I was not that I was surprised, because I feel that is in your character to be if we're friends, we're friends. Right. So I know that's in your character, but it was still okay, well, I know y'all held each other down for so many years. So here's little old me, what's it giving? But that was literally the pickup of our friendship, I feel or the start of our friendship without anybody else.
The flower blossom.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure. So with that being said, ever since then, we've been just unstoppable, babes. Yeah. We've been untouchable.
I hate it.
Exactly. So Alorna, say hey to everybody. This is my best friend, Alorna. Say hey. It's so good to have you here. So
we're to be here.
And we have
you.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
So happy you're doing this.
If you make me,
don't cry.
If you make my mascara run,
child, don't cry.
Exactly. Don't make my mascara run. But how did you feel? And I think this is important to talk about. You want to be loyal and you want to be real, right? And you want to show up to be authentic. Right. So you want to be okay, yeah, my loyalty lies with you as my best friend. However, this is somebody that, I've developed a good relationship with. Right. So anybody that's in that situation of having to not necessarily choose, but
you're caught in the middle.
Right. Yeah, so what is that what do you do?
I would just say, when you have God in your life first, it's you're going to choose people who make you feel closer to God. That's my personal belief. So, to me, it was we developed a relationship together with God. Right. It was we were talking about God, we were praying, all these things friendships that I had for years before you, we would talk about it, but it was there wasn't that solid foundation.
The consistency of it, right?
Consistency. Right. It was maybe I would hear from you every once in a while. And that's fine. You have friendships like that.
Right.
We'll catch up when we catch up. Cool. Right. But I think for you and I, it was just different. It was different. And I think we were kind of going through similar things. Mm-hmm. So it was easier for us to connect on that level too, was we were both going through a breakup, and it was we needed each other more than we needed each other.
Exactly. And it was we weren't looking forward to be oh, we're going through similar things at the same time. It was, we weren't looking for
outside,
that.
That's what it looked like.
Thank you. Thank you.
But no, it was genuine. It was.
And we're happy and thriving on the other side of it. Hello, don't leave me hanging, bitch. My arms can't reach that long across the table, but we're going to make it work.
But yeah, I would just say do what feels right to you, because no matter who's on the outside, people are just looking and judging no matter what. And it can be the people who are closest to you, who you think are there for you and who are trying to be there for you. But it's when you really analyze and you sit back and you look something don't feel right. What a lot of the fallout that happened with some of the friends that I had for so long, it was because of our friendship. Right. And it made absolutely no sense at all. Yeah. So I was just looking at it, not just because of you, but just in general. Why would I want this to be a part of my life? Right. If it's that easy, and if you couldn't even have a decent conversation,
then where's the genuine? And I agree. And a lot of that, like a lot of all of that, as tough as I try to be, not try to be because I am tough, but a lot of that, you know, it did hurt my feelings because it's like, you know, I thought that we were all like kind of developing. Like I didn't think that there was anybody, you know, from our formal circle or like whatever that I've been introduced to that has been as close as you and I, or as genuine as you and I.
Right.
However, everybody has been nice.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, like, you know, whatever.
People though are in the mindset, and it's just in general. Like if my friend breaks up, and you know, like that's
then
it,
we break up. Right.
You know what I mean? And I get it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
We had a different relationship.
Right.
And to me, I'm like, Devin was always like the most genuine person. You go over to Devin's house, he's cooking at 2:00 in the morning for you, like a full breakfast platter. I'm like, baby,
I ain't cooking no cheesesteaks, bitch. I'm cooking a full
eggs. Like it's like a whole, and just his being in general. Like he loves to host. He loves to just make everyone feel good and you know be there together. So I was just like, I'm not
losing this. Right. We're not losing out. But I really appreciate it because I feel like, you know, I normally like I use good judgment, but I feel like in that moment, I literally felt like, you know, everybody that I've grown to know and love through one person, we're not having that anymore. So if it were not for you reaching out, even though I felt the way you felt, as far as like we've developed a connection, I would not have reached out to be like, hey, let's keep our friendship because I just assumed that, like you said, like, okay, y'all broke up, so we broke up. So I really appreciate you and thank you. And it's been over 4 years now since that whole thing occurred, and we've been besties since then. And you're here. Besties. But one thing I want to talk about, like, just to bring it serious really quick, and I touched on it before, but I wanted to talk about, I wanted people to be able to take away something as far as what you can offer when we talk about suffering from depression.
Sure.
And I thought it was such a big deal because I think the ignorance in us as humans says, okay, well, you're beautiful.
Right.
Okay, well, you got money. Okay, well, you got a career. The niggas are on you. The bitches are on you. So what are you depressed about, girl? Like, what are you depressed about? Like, no, and I feel like that's a lot of America's thing of you're not suffering financially, you're not suffering in ways that I can point out. So because I can't point that out, what are you depressed? Like, you know, so touch on that. Tell the people that.
So what Devin's referring to is I went through kind of a dark time several times. And if you look at me on the outside, you'll, like he said, you'll say like, she has it all together, everything is perfect, whatever. And I feel like that is how society looks at most people, is how could you be going through this when you have so much? But it's an internal thing, one, and then how I say to overcome it, and how I did overcome it and continue to overcome it is relationship with God. It's always your relationship with God. And that's in everything. Friendships, relationships, your family. Like if there's not that solid foundation, you're not going to come out of deepness and darkness, but you can. Hello.
You can. Exactly. You can. Exactly.
You definitely can. But yeah, I think when you isolate yourself, because that's what I did. There was a time when you came to my house and I didn't even come to answer the door. Like,
and I was mad. I was
was
mad.
Like, what is going on? Go check on Lorna. And I just like, I was so isolated and so zoned out that I was like, I don't want to be around anyone. I don't want anyone to feel this right now. Like, I don't want anyone to worry, but like, I'm good. You know, like it was a worrisome time, but it was still a time for me where I was like, I have to come out of this. Like, no one can save me from this but God and myself.
Right.
But I do think if you are going through that, like you should let someone know though. And, you know, there's different things you can do to come out of depression. So whether it's your faith and your reading and your journaling and, you know, meditate, all these things, do it. Do whatever it takes. Take care of yourself first, like before you take care of everyone else. Because if you're not okay, how could you be okay for everyone else?
Exactly. And I literally just told somebody that I'm like, if you're not okay, if I'm not okay, then I like I'm not gonna be the Devin that everybody loves. Like
what's wrong with you? Why are
you're like, bitch, what the fuck is up? You're being dry. You're being weird. Like, you know, like you have to take time. But with that being said, like what for you was the point where you're like, all right, I need to take time for myself, and being that, because your sister reached out, you know, because she does not live in Atlanta. So your sister reached out, your family reached out, like, Devin, I know y'all live 5 minutes from each other. Devin, get your ass over there. And of course I did. And you ignored me too. But, and I was mad at first, but I understood, like, her total isolation is her total isolation. So, but brought you to the point to feel like, okay, this is what I need to do, and then this could be my strategy to get over it? Because there's so many people that commit suicide and, you know, resort to drugs, resort to alcohol because they just cannot take it anymore.
Yeah.
So what was your, like, okay, I'm gonna, not other than your faith, because it was the faith that did it,
right?
But through your faith, what was, like, literally the point to be like, I can make it through this, and bitch, I'm picking myself up. God, you got me. We're good.
I think that was the biggest thing, was just knowing that you have a purpose in this world, and like, I can't go until he says I can go.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't take that away from myself, my family, whoever it is. Like, until he says it's time, like, I have to keep pushing, I have to keep thriving, I have to keep doing whatever it takes, whether it's isolating, praying, meditating 10 times a day, whatever it is, I have to keep going until he says, Lorna, I'm ready for you. It's not up to me. And that's how I look at it.
That it's not up to you.
Right. That it's not up to me.
Okay, good. Can you say that in the camera? It's not up to you.
It's not up to me.
Yes, because I want anybody that's contemplating, because I've been there before. You know, not on that level to where it was consistent, but I've been there before. But it's not up to me, you know?
It's not to discredit anyone who could not see that or couldn't get through that or did go, you know, to that level of extent.
And I'm glad you said that.
You just never know what people are truly going through. And sometimes it is so unbearable that you're like, I would rather, and I see it as if they did something, it's like they're still with God.
Right.
Because
they're closer. Right.
They're closer. That's how I look at it personally. I just know for myself, it's more like it's his call, not mine.
Right, and I'm glad you know that, because I don't know what I would do without you. So I'm glad that you realize.
People, you know.
Right, hello everybody. Right, but really quick, so production's saying we have to wrap up soon.
Yeah.
But really quick, like, I want you to talk about like your business as far as like your career, only because I feel like, you know, like, what you do, like, you're impacting people, like, first of all, physically, you're doing things that's going to make them good. But, you know, having that interaction, having that, like, I want to help you, I want to make you feel good about yourself. You know, and I feel like you're the perfect person for that, because you're so empathetic and because you're so, like, I'll put myself in your shoes. So talk about your business, talk about what you do, make sure you share your Instagram directly in that camera.
Okay.
So that people can know.
Okay.
And I had some work done too.
So what he's referring to, I'm a nurse practitioner. I do cosmetic injections. So how I look at it is I just help people to make them feel better about themselves. So to me, it's not just like, oh, I'm getting rid of your wrinkles, I'm giving you whatever it is. It's more like, you came to me because you maybe are going through something, and this is going to make you feel better about yourself. This is going to help you that milestone. So injector.Alorna is where you can find me.
And you took 10 years off somebody before.
Yeah, just, you know, uplift, make the girls feel good about themselves, and guys too as well. But yeah, it's a great field. It's been very therapeutic for me, and I have so many venting sessions with my clients. So it's not just about
the work, but it's about the work.
The relationship.
Right. Exactly. The relationship.
Yeah.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
And she will literally touch your face, because we'll be out for drinks and sushi, and she's like, I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, well, you could probably do a little, and I'm like, thanks for letting me know, but you don't gotta like pull my face back in front. But no, seriously though, it's time to wrap up. Production saying we have to go. Literally, I know I always say that I could talk to all my guests like all night, but you know, you and I have like been through a lot. We've been through ups and downs. We've been mad at each other before, which people would never ever imagine that we've ever been mad at each other. But we've been mad at each other. We've said words that, you know, that we didn't want to say, but we did. And we've been in a place that we would never want to be in again. But I feel like, and I know that you have genuinely been a true friend. Even when my dad passed away, you were like the second person I called. And I didn't even have much to say, but I'm just like, I know you love me that much. Like, I don't even know what to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and you were so supportive. And just don't change. Like, you know, right, we're not going to change. With solidarity, we're not going to change. We're going to keep getting better. We're going to keep getting better. But again, just thank you so much for being a good friend, for being my girl. And I hope to see you on my show, like, all the time, girl. Like, we live in Atlanta, so just
we'll talk about some happier stuff next.
Yes, exactly. But I feel like this was a really good takeaway. I think the Kiki was good. You know, but I feel like the takeaway was like even better.
Take care of yourselves, love yourselves.
Yes, exactly. That's very important.
great in this world. You got this.
All right, do you want to close this out or do you want me to close this out? Make sure you say debonair dialogue if you close this out.
No, you close out.
Okay, I'll close this out. Next time she'll close this out. Cheers. So thank you guys again for being a part of this special episode. Again, this is one of my very best friends. All of my guests are special, but this is like literally one of my very best friends. So it's very special to me. So thank you all for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, hit Alorna up. Girl, get them cheeks done. I had a little wrinkle line done. I'm getting my bags done next, hopefully, pro bono. But definitely follow her, tune in, like, subscribe, share, all of that. And thank you again.
Keeping in God first.
Yes, exactly. That's the first and foremost.
Cheers again.